Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Liliana Blackstar. I am an astrologer and a tarot card enthusiast, and I have my website called Hestia's Muse. I offer some little astrology insights, and I thought that this week I might give a try at doing a little video update. These are updates that I have been posting on my Patreon blog for a while, and I post a 10-day forecast for whatever decan the sun is in. So let's jump in. Happy New Year! We are heading into 2025. It's right after the new moon in Capricorn, which was last night. The moon is still new in the sign of Capricorn today as I'm recording this on December 31st, 2024. So we are heading into the second half of Capricorn season. So the sun is going to be moving from 10 degrees through the 19th degree of Capricorn. That is the second decan of Capricorn from today, December 31st, through January 9th of 2025. So the sun is moving through the second decan of Capricorn. Capricorn, the entire sign, is ruled by Saturn, and the second decan is subruled by the planet Mars. So you can think of this period of Capricorn season to be very Martian in nature. So overall, the transits and lessons of Mars are going to be very important right now, alongside the transits and lessons of Saturn. So if you are studying astrology, it's a great time to study both Saturn and Mars, and just pay attention to the transits of Saturn and Mars over these next 10 days. In astrology, Mars is considered a very powerful and assertive planet. It is associated with energy, motivation, and the pursuit of your individual desires. It is named after the Roman god of war and represents courage, vitality, and strong determination to take action. Mars has a significant influence on how we assert ourselves, pursue our goals, and express our passions. It is often linked to our physical energy and how we approach life's challenges, symbolizing a force that drives us forward. For the next 10 days, while the sun is moving through this second decan of Capricorn, you can consider Mars to be very important. And Mars during this time is retrograde in the sign of Leo, and it is this week in an exact opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But for now, I just want to continue with a brief overview of these next 10 days. Taking a look at the tarot card, the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is the tarot card that is corresponding with the second decan of Capricorn. And also, this card could symbolize Mars in Capricorn. Either way, it's either those middle 10 degrees of Capricorn, no matter what planet is there, is this Three of Pentacles energy. And that section of Capricorn, those middle 10 degrees, are subruled by the planet Mars. So this is how we get the association of Mars in Capricorn being associated with the Three of Pentacles. So this card, the Three of Pentacles, represents the early stages of tangible success and collaboration. So it features like an artist or a craftsman who is working alongside others, symbolizing the energy of teamwork and skill development and the recognition of individual abilities. So this card suggests that through collaboration and focused teamwork, a strong foundation can be laid for future accomplishments. So this is a really great card to remember and reflect on if you're making any New Year's resolutions for 2025. You cannot do all of it by yourself. Who are you calling in for help? Who are the people who are skilled at the things that you want to accomplish that can help you accomplish those goals? So in this card, we are reminded that Like, I don't have to do the entire home renovation by myself, right? I call on a plumber to take care of the plumbing. I call on carpenters to do carpentry work. I have my skills and specialties that other people can call upon me for. Um, and so we want to take pride in what we do, but we also want to give people space to do what they do and lift them up while allowing them to help us and our goals get better accomplished when we are working together with other skilled individuals. So this card can encourage you to take pride in your contribution to a shared goal and emphasizing the value of collaboration, expertise, and the importance of honing your specific craft. The Three of Pentacles serves as a reminder that the journey towards mastery and success often involves collaboration and the recognition of individual skills within the collective effort. So Mars brings the energy and drive to get the job done, and Capricorn energy is practical enough to know that one person alone does not have all the mastery and skill to get the job done. So this is the times that we call in skilled professionals to do the things that they're best at doing, making sure that the job is completed with high standards. Asking for others to help us do jobs that they are skilled at does not indicate that we are a failure. It indicates that getting the job done right is more important than taking the credit for doing it all yourself. So you have special skills and talents, and someone else has special skills and talents that are different from yours. And hopefully, we can collaborate with others and work together as a team to bring in skilled people that can understand your vision and help you complete the project the way that you have envisioned it or the way that the collective group envisions the project. So this is a great week to review the lessons of the Three of Pentacles card between now and January 9th, and consider journaling and meditating on the meaning of this card. On my YouTube channel, I have a podcast episode about this card that I recorded last year. So you can go find that podcast episode for the Three of Pentacles, Mars, and Capricorn and check that out. All right, so let's take a look at this week from December 31st to January 9th. What have we got going on? The biggest thing that we have going on right now is the Mars opposition Pluto. And this is ongoing throughout this whole time period. So, first of all, Mars is in the sign of Leo, where it's been retrograding for quite a while. It started the retrograde on December 7th. So, we're coming up on it's been retrograde for a month, right? And as it is getting to these very, very early degrees, like the 0 degrees and 1 degrees of Leo, it is coming into an exact opposition with Pluto in the very early degrees of Aquarius. So just overall, the Mars retrograde transit is a period that prompts some rethinking and reevaluation of how we assert ourselves, how we pursue our goals, and how we manage our energy. Again, Mars is the planet of action, drive, and ambition, and it is typically encouraging forward momentum and decisive action. But during the retrograde period, this outward expression is slowed or reversed. So this can result in feelings of frustration, like there's delays in achieving your goals, there's difficulty expressing your passion or your anger, or there's just some kind of blockage that's preventing you from moving forward in some way. So it can feel very frustrating. So the lesson of Mars retrograde is to know how to take a step back, breathe, release, and reassess how we're channeling our energy and whether our actions are aligning with our true intentions. So if I keep pushing and pushing and pushing in this way and it's not working, then maybe it's time for me to think about what I'm doing, and maybe I need to be pushing on this door over here instead of this one here, right? So it's time to address our unresolved conflicts and refine our strategies, and maybe conserve our energy for when Mars turns direct again. Instead of trying to push, 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 the Mars retrograde period really says, okay, maybe I need to save my energy for something else. Maybe this project isn't working because it doesn't align with what I actually want, or it doesn't align with what I actually need to be focusing my energy on. So there's something that's not working, and either it's just time to take a break and not work on that right now, or it's time to reflect on whether that project is even something that you still want to be pursuing. So this Mars retrograde is happening in Leo. So this energy of reevaluation is really going to be centered around that Leo energy of creativity, self-expression, and personal leadership. So Leo is this sign associated with confidence, passion, and a desire to shine. And it's typically amplifying these natural Mars assertive qualities. But during the retrograde, this vibrant Leo energy is feeling stifled, and we're having self-doubt. Like there's this frustration of the thing that I'm doing isn't working, or it's not being appreciated. And so then we start to internalize that and turn it into self-doubt, and it starts to eat away at our self-esteem, right? So there's these areas in life where you want to seek recognition or take bold action, but the Mars retrograde here is kind of throwing a wrench into the works a little bit, or slowing things down, or you're just not getting the reactions out of people that you wanted. So this is the challenges of the Mars retrograde in Leo in general. We're being challenged to reconsider how we express our individuality. And we're being challenged to think about whether our ambition truly aligns with our true, authentic selfhood. So the lesson here is to reconnect with your inner sense of purpose and reignite your passion in a way that's sustainable, and you're not burning out your energy on things that don't matter to you. So this Mars retrograde in Leo is really an opportunity to refine our creative projects, strengthen your sense of self-worth, because finding the thing that gives you a sense of purpose, regardless of whether anyone is complimenting you or telling you you did a good job. Just the work itself gives you that satisfaction. And so, therefore, you are boosting your own self-worth and feelings of confidence internally, instead of depending on other people to do that from external directions. And so this is also teaching us a lot of patience as we are preparing to step forward with, this renewed sense of clarity once Mars turns direct. Um, we're just having this opportunity while it's retrograde to really refine our purpose, right? Refine the concept of what is it that I really want to be putting my energy into, so I can stop wasting my energy on things that are not sparking joy, right? So the tarot card for Mars in Leo is the Seven of Wands. So this is another card for you to pull out and contemplate at this time, especially if you use reversals in tarot. This is like, turn that Seven of Wands card upside down and think, this is now Mars in Leo retrograde. How's that blockage working out, right? So what we have going on right now is, as Mars is getting into the very, very early degrees of Leo, it's coming into this very intense opposition with Pluto in the very early degrees of Aquarius. So this is ongoing now. It was ongoing through the holidays. That some of that tension that we were feeling through the holidays was really related to this Mars opposition Pluto. So, and this is just getting more and more intense this first week of January. On January 6th, Mars is going to retrograde back into Cancer, and it will still be in an opposition to Aquarius, but it will shift gears. It'll feel different. It will be an out of sign opposition, and it will be, yeah, it's just we're shifting energy. So we're just focusing right now on what it feels like for that Mars Pluto opposition to happen while Mars is in Leo. So this is really amplifying the Leo Aquarius axis. The lessons between Leo and Aquarius, there is balance that's needed between these two signs, right? All of the signs have oppositions. The opposite sign from them has a lot to teach them. So there is a very strong lesson coming at Mars from Pluto that has to do with this Leo and Aquarius opposition energy. So it's really intensifying the Mars retrograde in Leo and potentially aggravating like our fight or flight responses, because Pluto feels very intense and very deep. Pluto takes whatever planet it's touching and just very much intensifies it and puts it like under a magnifying glass. So Pluto relates to shadow work, and it relates to power struggles. It relates to finding what the true source of power is in any situation. And then the trauma or pain and shadow work that comes up when we confront sources of power. Because it comes down to Pluto being about, I want to feel powerful, but there's all of these little things that I encounter in life that make me feel less powerful, and they take away my power in some way, and then I have some kind of trauma response related to not feeling powerful that comes up. And so this is going on between Mars and Pluto right now. Is Mars wants to feel a certain type of powerful, especially in Leo, and Pluto says, well, here's the truth about our power dynamics that's going on right now. And it's hard to look at. It's definitely not a feel good aspect. There's people having like these fight or flight responses, like I said, are maybe we're feeling really defensive or overreactive, especially when we are not feeling validated. Like everyone wants to be seen, everyone wants to feel validated, and like their creativity and their specific personal energy is appreciated, right? And this retrograde plus the Pluto opposition is bringing in these feelings of like, I don't know, are people validating me? Are people appreciating me? Am I even being seen or noticed for what I'm doing? And then how we react to that feeling, because we feel powerless when we're not being validated, or we feel powerless when we're not feeling seen and appreciated, right? So how are we reacting to these feelings of powerlessness? And are those feelings even real, or is it something that we are just perceiving because we are in a state of need when we're needing the validation externally rather than feeling powerful within ourselves, right? We need this validation from others. So it's really an opportunity again to reflect on your shadow work of like, why am I having this reaction? Am I actually powerless, or am I just feeling that way? Where is my internal power, and how can I tap into that instead of becoming dependent on the validation from other people to make me feel powerful? That power is there whether other people validate it or not. We all need to be heard and seen and valued, right? But if we're feeling a lack of that, then there's an opportunity coming from Pluto to kind of reflect and do our shadow work and do our healing, some healing with the inner child, to help you find this inner source of hearing and seeing and valuing yourself, so that you are not being codependent on other people bringing that energy to you, right? So another thing that can be going on is when people are being ultra defensive and overreactive, there's going to be possibly some aggression and impulsiveness coming up while people fight for that recognition and fight for that acknowledgement that they feel that they deserve. And so overall, throughout this whole week, it's going to be really good to setting the intention to be giving people validation and recognition, because recognize you're not the only one feeling this. Everyone's kind of feeling this need for recognition and validation to help them feel empowered. So how can you be that source for other people? And as you shine that source outwardly to other people and you become the source of validation and recognition and empowerment for others, it shines back on you, right? You can't help but feel that way too and feel that energy flowing inward when you're giving it outwardly. And also just remembering to be patient. Watch how you're pushing your energy, and try not to be pushing energy in places where it's not wanted or not valued and appreciated, but putting your energy towards the things that you feel passionate about, putting your energy towards the things that you really want to be working on, and then just not like forcing it on other people, and allowing patience, allowing space, allowing yourself grace if things aren't working out or moving forward as quickly as you want, just keeping in mind that Mars is in retrograde and it's having a power conflict with Pluto. So that feeling of blockage or like the energy's not moving along as fast as you want is going to be really amplified during this time. And then on January 6th, Mars is going to move into the sign of Cancer, and we have a whole different bag of worms kind of open up with Mars retrograde in Cancer. And that's maybe something to discuss in another video, because I want to continue with the other major thing that's happening this week, aside from the Mars Pluto opposition, is we have Venus in Pisces. So Venus has been in the sign of Aquarius through the holiday season, and now on January 2nd, Venus is going to move into the sign of Pisces. So Venus in Pisces is possibly the most beautiful and nice transit of this winter time. It's helping kind of bring some softness to that harsh Mars Pluto energy that I was just talking about, right? So Venus loves being in Pisces. Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the ocean and Venus is Aphrodite. And so it's like Venus returning to the ocean where she was born of sea foam. And it just really brings this kind of pleasant, creative, compassionate vibe to everything. So Venus in Pisces can help us relate to others from a place of deeper empathy and compassion, and it can help us make deeper connections with other people from a place of having unified desires for the pleasure of shared dreams and shared experiences. So if you have people around you that really love and appreciate the same type of things that you do, you can really connect with these people very deeply right now. So Venus in Pisces can also help us like grow deeper with spirituality, because Venus is about our desires and what we crave. And Pisces is a deeply spiritual sign, so it helps us really connect with this desire to connect to our spirituality and a desire to experience these deep and beautiful spiritual things. So overall, this is a really good transit for this first, beginning of the year, beginning January 2nd, and Venus will be in the sign of Pisces through February 3rd. So I do want to put out the thing to be wary of with Venus in Pisces is that these desires, these very strong desires for everything to feel good, can result in just a really strong attraction to fantasy and escapism. So, Venus in Pisces can encourage us to get caught up in our sensuality and our pleasure seeking, which is great. But if you allow yourself to overindulge, right, then there's some dangers there. So you don't want to get caught up or swept away in the feeding of the senses and the pleasure seeking. So those who struggle with addiction or overindulgence might have to apply some extra mindfulness and use all of your skills for helping you manage that while Venus is in Pisces, because we all want to feel good, right? But everything is with moderation. We need that moderation, and Venus is not very good at moderation. And Pisces has a tendency to flow beyond the boundaries of what is acceptable, because this is the nature of the ocean, to ebb and flow with the tides and to follow those emotions. And that feeling, that oceanic feeling, sometimes doesn't really know where the boundary or the border is of what's too much or where should I stop. And there's also that, like, Pisces can get really involved into escapism. Like, some feelings are not good. I don't want to deal with those feelings. They're yucky, so I'm going to ignore them by indulging in some escapism, which can be a very beautiful thing. We all need a little bit of escapism in our lives. We have social media, we have movies, we have our friends and music and whatever we do to kind of let go of the stress and not think about all of the things that we have to do for a minute, but just like enjoy the moment. But we can get caught up in that. Again, it's like the ocean, like the tides just pull you out. And before you know it, you've been playing your game for 4 hours, and you haven't stretched your body or taken care of your needs and fed yourself. Or you have been caught up in a book and you neglected your work for a whole day because you were just really caught up in this book. Or within that, escapism is the realm of delusion, where we tell ourselves everything is okay and we ignore the problems because they don't feel good, and we just put them over here, and then we look over here at something pretty and we delude ourselves into thinking everything is fine. Or even in the opposite direction, that delusion can then amplify and manifest into us over focusing on the bad and getting caught up in things that are untrue, um because we're paying so much attention to how we feel that we can get kind of caught up in, the vibes are off, so this person must be out to get me, and it can just devolve into paranoia. So we want to be very cautious and mindful with this Venus in Pisces energy, that we don't get caught up in flights of fantasy and delusion, and keep a foot on solid ground, stay grounded, stay connected to reality. Don't get so caught up in fantasy and desire that you lose touch with reality and stop taking care of yourself. Um, so something that is going to happen with Venus in Pisces, not right away, this is something for later, but just know that there is a Venus retrograde coming up this year. And that's going to begin with Venus in Aries, and it's going to come back to the sign of Pisces. So, as I said, Venus is in Pisces from January 2nd to February 3rd, but it will come back and be in Pisces again from March 27th to April 30th because of retrograde movement. So that's just something to be aware of. Pisces Venus will not enter the pre-shadow zone until January 27th. So at least for right now, for this first couple of weeks of Pisces, Venus in Pisces, excuse me, we are not in the pre-retrograde zone yet, and we can really enjoy tapping into that energy of enjoyment and allow yourself to enjoy this very sensual and pleasant feeling of Venus in Pisces. It's like, finally some good astrology, right? We deserve this. We need this. Everything else has been really intense, but this one is good. We just have to remain mindful and grounded so we don't get swept away with it. So overall, those are the major things happening over these next 10 days from December 31st to January 9th. It's relatively quiet besides the Mars opposition and Mars re-entering Cancer on January 6th. And then also on January 8th, we have Mercury entering the sign of Capricorn. Mercury has been in Sagittarius for a long time because of the retrograde there, so it's finally leaving Sagittarius and moving into Capricorn on January 8th. So that's another energy shift to look forward to at the end of this time period. And that is going to help us be more grounded. It's going to help us, be more practical. Mercury in Capricorn is the planet of the mind. And in Capricorn, it is focusing on what is practical and seeking out what is strategic, industrious, and resourceful, and how can I, in the most practical way possible, bring success and stability into my life. So Mercury in Capricorn brings a focus to the way that Mercury rules over commerce and trade. Everyone normally thinks of Mercury and the first thing they think of is communication, but it's also the ruler of commerce and trade. And commerce and trade rely on having good communication, obviously. So this isn't necessarily about like greed and making money, but Mercury in Capricorn recognizes that for optimal survival and success, there's a practical need to trade goods and information with others. So there's this pragmatic nature to Mercury in Capricorn that asks, what can I gain from this situation? What does this person have that I need? And what kind of trade can I make to get that thing that I need? Right? How can I benefit from this interaction? What does this interaction have that I need? And when I put my energy into it, I'm getting something back out of it. So Mercury in Capricorn helps us just really focus on what we can gain from our interactions, how we can be more practical and resourceful, how we can be more strategic and realistic. And it's really good for taking care of practical matters, but it can also sometimes be a depressive, pessimistic energy or bring in a sense of melancholy, because Capricorn can be a little too realistic sometimes, right? And so Mercury and Capricorn kind of can get, when we're looking at things in a practical way, then and being realistic, then that can be just kind of depressing. But I think that's balanced out with the Venus in Pisces, and so they're kind of balancing each other because Venus in Pisces is like everything is beautiful and feels perfect, and Mercury in Capricorn is like, maybe not. But together, hopefully, we find a little bit of balance in that. So overall, that is the first 9 days of 2025. Here we go. And I hope that it is bringing you some pleasant experiences, some blessings, and some peace. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. And I hope that you like this video. Like, comment, share, pass it on. Let me know if you like it. I want to try to maybe do these little updates every once in a while if people like them. So let me know. Talk to you later. Bye.